Pregame.com.
The favored Detroit Lions are just 1-25 straight up in Lambeau Field since 1992. This is Brad Powers, Pregame.com studios, just off the Vegas Strip. We're talking Monday Night Football action. We got a good one in the NFC North. We have Detroit at Green Bay. Fez, you like Detroit, or are you going with the total in this one?
Well, 1-25. There's no way I would like Detroit, but I'm going over the 43, and it's all about Detroit being an over team. This defense is below average. How many times do we have to say that with these Detroit Lions? Year after year, their D barely gets by, and the only way that they compete is to have an above-average offense, which they have this year solely because they got the gunslinger. I really like what Stafford can do. He is a top 10 NFL quarterback, and what have we seen? Top 10 NFL quarterbacks can overcome problems with the O-line. If you're an Eli Manning, if you're a Andy Dalton, and you have O-line problems, you can't move the ball. But if you're a top 10 quarterback, like a Rodgers, like a Stafford, you can still move the chains, get the yards, and most games get your team in the end zone.
Yeah, I love the value aspect here because going back to last week, you probably had one of the phoniest, lower-scoring games that we'll see in the NFL this entire season.
My condolences if you played Pittsburgh, Detroit over 45 and lost. More condolences if you teased them down to 39 and lost. We saw almost 900 yards of offense. The Lions alone almost get 500 yards, and somehow they don't get into the end zone once.
Yeah, third most yards in NFL history without scoring a touchdown. But let's talk about, their previous games prior to this. We're facing a bunch of under teams that kind of depress their stats.
Yeah, so you take a look at the start of the season. They play Arizona, and then they play the New York Giants when they had all those wide receivers hurt, the New York Giants. No surprise, low-scoring Detroit win 10-24. They also play Minnesota. They play Carolina. So 4 games on their schedule against under teams, depressing the scoring averages, giving us value to play overs later in the year.
But the last 2 weeks are kind of more indicative of what we're going to see from Detroit moving forward, the New Orleans game and the Pittsburgh game.
Yeah, so the New Orleans game, obviously a zillion points get scored. A lot of defensive scores, but it kind of makes sense when you look at how Stafford is, that he would go ahead and throw touchdown passes and throw a pick six here and there as well, high-risk offense. And if you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, their D had been playing very elite prior to that game, and Detroit still put up almost 500 yards against them. I think it's going to be how Detroit Lions are going to play out the rest of the year. That Pittsburgh game, only better success in the red zone.
All right, second main handicap.
Quarterback for Green Bay, Hundley, great improvement under the bye week. Let's face it, bye weeks can be a little treacherous in terms of how a team is going to react coming off the bye week. If you look at Green Bay in the past, back when Brett Favre was quarterback, when Aaron Rodgers was quarterback, who knows? Are they going to go to Cabo? Are they going to go to the Baja? Are they going to go to Switzerland? I don't know, but it stands to reason with only 1 week off, they're going to go ahead and take some time off. But here we have a situation, this is an enormously important stretch with Hundley to show that he is an NFL quarterback. He can parlay this into a big-time NFL contract if he plays well. You know he's just sitting at home with his playbook, probably with a couple guys he's throwing to, getting ready for this game.
And let's talk about a supporting cast. You mentioned it already. The rushing attack, is that going to be fully capable here to take advantage of Detroit?
Oh, I think so. If you look at their last game against the Saints, they absolutely were able to run the ball with an effective rushing attack, and all they need is capable, mediocre quarterback play from Hundley, and they should be able to get into the 20s and push this game up and over.
All right, we're taping this one 5 days in advance of the game being played on Monday. Weather forecast, we got to look at that this time of year, especially in Lambeau in November. Looks good for you. Let's go ahead and make it official.
Let's make it official. Detroit is an over team. Their D is below average, and Stafford will put points on the board and will get into the end zone this week. And Green Bay's offense under Hundley should improve. The bye week will be a focus week for him, and it will be a huge factor. The Fez Math says go over the 43. More videos, pregame.com.